What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Tonight, we're going to be checking out Amazon Game Studios' upcoming MMO named New World. I've been interested in this game ever since it was announced about, I'd say, probably like 2 years ago, maybe? A year and a half ago? This is the first time I heard about it, anyway. And this morning, I woke up with the email from them giving me a little beta invite with code. So I figured we'd check it out. Might as well, right? So I don't know if we're going to be playing every night during the beta test, because right now the beta test goes from today until Saturday. So we might play it every night. It really just depends on how we feel about it after one night of playing it here tonight. We'll see if it really has enough different compared to other MMOs to stand out and like leave a good impression, because I've kind of burned myself out on MMOs. Honestly, like earlier on in my Twitch channel, I did a couple nights there where I was talking about like my previous experience with MMOs, and I've pretty much tried to play almost every single one that's ever come out, just to try each one, see if one really catches my interest. So far, the two that have caught my interest more than any, I played World of Warcraft for a long time, but I liked Guild Wars 2, but in my experience, every time I try to go into that game and try to start out fresh as the new player, like there aren't enough people in the new player zone to like help you, and that's a big selling point of that game, is like the whole map is made like everybody joins together and like co-op essentially the entire open world MMO game. And then the other one that really caught my interest and I loved, sadly enough, was what was that one called? It was a space MMO. It was made by like a lot of the original World of Warcraft creators. Man, I cannot even remember what it was called, but Wildstar, because it only lasted like a year and then they shut it down because it did not succeed very well, sadly. And I really enjoyed it, but obviously once it shut down, what can you do? You can't really keep playing it. So we're gonna try the New World game, see what it's all about here. Apparently it takes place in like the 1700s, during like the age of the New World, where like we find North America and start like trying to populate it and colonize it. Expedition population. So this open, I guess it's not really an open beta, but this beta test here just started today. I don't know what the difference is between these places. I guess it just changes where you start. Dead Man's Anchor, Cascade Harbor, or Cruel Vista. Let's try Cascade Harbor, why not? Okay. Play on Inkwell. You can only have one character in the Cascade Harbor World group. If you ever want to play on a different Cascade Harbor world, you'll need to delete your character on Inkwell, create a new one on a different world. If you have friends playing on Cascade Harbor worlds, you will not be able to play with them, I understand. Ooh, coming right out with a cutscene. Interesting. It looks like, I don't know where this would take place, because like I said, it's supposed to be like when we first find the US, or not the US, North America. Loud. I'll let the cutscene play out and then I'll adjust the volume because it's a little louder than I was expecting.
Have you witnessed their power? I have. We've all heard the legends. Every child has heard the legends of the cursed sea. The stories of ships vanishing without a trace.
So like the
How many
Bermuda
have been
Triangle.
lost over the years? Dismissed as fantasy. The nobles, the church. They all knew the truth. Something out there was growing.
It's like supernatural stuff. Something like just flew across over the water.
The threat grows once more as the bourgeoisie slumber. Your ship is
His eyes
stocked
got real
and
big.
your crew assembled. We can pretend no longer. Left unchecked, the veil will surely fall. and all will be lost to madness and ruin. This corruption must be stopped.
That voice actor has a really gravelly, raspy voice. I like it. Seems to have really good graphics for an MMO so far. Or this could all still be part of the cutscene. Instead of in-game engine they could be using. Oh, that's me. That's me. So I'm one of the people on this dude's ship. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit real quick. It should be good. I don't really care too much. Let's do a man. Let's do. I mean, we're just getting a first look, like a first taste at the game. So we're gonna make a character as quickly as possible, just to jump in here and test it out. I like that guy, I guess. Oh, every time I click him, it changes. Just randomize this. That guy looks good. Okay, skin tone, yeah, that's fine. Hairstyle, not scraggly. Let's do afro, no. Let's do short afro, no. Do buzz cut, a little longer. Not that. That looks good. That's good enough, you know? Doesn't need to be anything special. Too darker though. Yeah. 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 Facial hair. Let's do ooh. Ooh. So I've made comments before in other games I've played how like facial hair in video games never really seems to be too good. Like compared to the hair on the head of the characters, the facial hair always looks like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. Not hair-like, like computerized. But in this game, it actually looks like the facial hair looks pretty decent. So we will give him not a super long beard. Let's not be ridiculous about it. That looks good. Okay. Yeah. 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 Of course, we're gonna name him Bubby. Bubby. Someone already used Bubby? What the heck? There we go. You can't change your appearance from this point on? They don't have barber shops in the 1700s? What are you talking about? I'm ready, master. I was actually about to say I'm ready to face the Kraken as a joke, but like, looks like the game literally just throws you right into it. So I don't know if this game is like based mostly on like, I mean, I was gonna say mostly on like reality, but I'm assuming not, because like in that cutscene at the beginning, there were like extraterrestrial or supernatural beings like flying around over the water. But I don't know how deep it gets into like mythology or like mythical creatures either. Like I don't know if krakens will be a thing. I don't really know. We definitely have to adjust the mouse sensitivity though. Draw my weapon. Man, the graphics are really good for MMO. Block. Did it? Is it gonna have like real-time combat? Space. Dodge. Got it. Heavy attack. Hold. Oh, I stabbed him in the chest. He's done. Captain Thorpe, I must talk to you. First, I must adjust my mouse sensitivity. No, I must not, because I can't. I have to talk to him. Captain Thorpe, there is evil here. The priest called it corruption. I can feel it consuming me. I don't have much time. Take this, keep it safe. It is a crucial key to defeating the veritable army of corruption marshalling here, so that must be what the enemies are called, corruption. You'll need help. There are other people on the island. They've battled for ages against the tide of corruption. Find a settlement, make allies. You must stop the corruption before it escapes and consumes everything. Ooh, everything. Well, goodbye, Captain Thorpe. Apparently, he is dead. View items in your inventory. A worn round shield. Yeah. Drag or double click to equip the shield. Yeah. The food. Light rations. Drag or double click to... Ooh, I like that already. 4. What is this? Captain Thorpe's box. Securely locked. The box pulses with strange energy. Ooh, man. Required level to use is 1. I think I'm level 1. I mean, I would assume I'm level 1. Game hasn't told me otherwise. Sorry, adjusting my microphone. It wasn't aiming at my mouth. Kind of a prereq. Okay, close my inventory. Assuming food and drink restores health, so it wants me to waste all the food I just got. Oh look, he actually eats it. Can I adjust my mouse sensitivity now? Zoom in, zoom out. Yeah. Ah, there we go. Change how fast your camera moves. We'll crank that up quite a bit, because where it's at right now is like super slow. Okay. Oh yeah, now we got it. I'm wondering if this game actually has like real-time action combat. Like, is it Dark Soulsies? I'm gonna have to like block in real time. I wonder if you can parry. Like, some of these things are sounding really, really appealing right off the bat. Escape the ship graveyard. I will. Light attack, heavy attack, block, and dodge. I got it. You have to tell me twice. Oh man, it is real time. That's awesome. Like, that's one of the points of MMOs that I just don't like. After all of these years, most MMOs are still like turn-based. That to me, well, not turn-based. I wouldn't say turn-based, but they're all like spamming skills on your keyboard. Like, none of them are actually action combat, I guess is what they call it now. And like, a few have tried to do that in the last couple of years, or the last few years, like Terra, and even Guild Wars 2 to an extent. Oh, you got me. Wonder if you can block strong attacks. Oh boy. No, you're not taking me down. Not losing to the second enemy of the game. That would be ridiculous. The corruption stuff makes a lot of weird noises. What if I cut this? Can I cut it? No, of course not, you silly. Oh, you're so dead, dude. Oh no! God. Still making our way out of the ship graveyard. Mantle, shift, and W. It's kind of a weird combination of buttons. I don't know why it would be space and W. Reduces your nameplate visibility to other players. That's kind of funny. So you can even do PvP stealth. So trying to make me sneak up on this dude. Get to higher ground, Anakin. Disrupt enemy blocks with heavy attacks. Holding longer increases the attack's damage. Gotcha. Disrupt your blocks, sucker. And the combat feels really good. Purchase upgrades with K. Is it real money? It's like, you have to pay us $2 to purchase an upgrade. One-handed, a medium reach melee weapon that utilizes a combination of arcing swings and lunges. I got it. Click on the sword to view the mastery tree. Oh my. Whirling blade, a spinning attack that hits all nearby targets in a 360 degree around the character. So each individual item has its own mastery tree. That's pretty interesting. So Q is my special. Gotcha. Man, the graphics are really good. Which it should be, because from what I understand, this game just started being made like 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, they've turned this game out pretty quick, but in the process, they're also using a modern game engine, which a lot of MMOs take like 7-8 years in production. By the time they come out, their game engine they're using is like 2 years old. Or 2 generations old, I should say, and they don't really look that great compared to like modern games. This actually looks very nice. very nice, very, very nice. It's the new world, by the way. You made me get to high ground just so I could descend? What's the point? Game, once you have high ground, you're supposed to keep high ground. Game obviously doesn't know anything about battle strategies. Send into the grotto. Oh, I guess you guys can't see that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Move myself over. There you go. Not that you really need to be able to see the objective, I guess, but hey. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like to be able to see what's going on. It's my captain. He's possessed by the corruption. These little cutscene moments in this game are super loud. Corrupted Captain. Oh my god. Stop it. Stop it, you mean old potato. He has a lot of armor. Yeah, you do your strong attack, I'll do mine. Let's see who wins. Oh god, I think he's winning. Okay, patience. Okay, gotta be patient. I'm on fire. Oh my. We're getting him now. Just took me a second to realize what was happening. Now it's strong attack. Get him. Now dodge. Okay, so you can't change, like, you can't... And this is one thing that I actually like about this game that a lot of MMOs do, is you can't animation cancel. So, like, in order for me to do a move, I have to wait until the animation from the original move is done. So I can't just sit here and do a strong attack and then spam a roll right afterwards, because I have to wait for the strong attack animation to actually complete. Which is interesting. I can see actually a lot of people complaining about that being a thing. Because it makes it a slower paced game than most MMOs, because most MMOs you can just spam one attack right after the other, regardless of whether their animation is over or not. But that to me makes it a much higher quality build, or at least seems like the game has a much higher quality build when they actually take the care to have individual animations for each move. And you have to cool down the animation before you can start the animation of another move. Like, other MMOs kind of feel cheesy in that way, like World of Warcraft, to name one, is what happened. Oh, apparently that was just like the intro. I haven't even logged into the game yet. That's a cool intro, though. Like, World of Warcraft, for one, is like really, I mean, to be fair, World of Warcraft is one of the very first original, like, popular MMOs. But that's one of the games where you can, like, literally just spam an attack immediately after starting another attack. So even if the attack's animation hasn't completed, your guy will just go straight into, like, starting the next attack. But they do have queues in that game too, so like some attacks you do have to let the whole like flashy like post-processing, whatever you call those, like filters and special effects happen before it will actually start the next attack, so you can queue one behind the other one. But in this game it doesn't seem like you can queue them. You have to actually do the individual move you want to do one at a time, wait for the animation for one move to finish, then hit the button for the next one. So how's everybody going? How's everybody doing? How's the day? Got 2 minutes to wait. Makes me wonder if the login timer starts now or if it started at the beginning of the introduction area. Probably now, right? I think there's only been 2 other alpha test weekends in the past, so people haven't really had too much opportunity to try this game. So a lot of people are probably jumping on it as much as they can in the short amount of time they have to do it. I actually thought maybe the game crashed at first. I was like, well, that was great. That's a good first impression. So the game is made by Amazon Game Studios, which I guess has made a couple other games so far. One is Crucible. It's like a Overwatch competitor. And I heard decent things about it, but I think it had a very, very short-lived popularity in the Battle Royale game genre. It is a free game, so I think they were hoping that would get it a little bit more oomph to get like up towards the top of the popularity list. But even then, I think it pretty much faded out within like a couple months of it being out. I'm liking this town mission board system, pretty nice. All characters are going to be wiped, yes. Easy. Oh, I can just pick up flint. I don't even have to like use an axe or anything to mine it. I just pick up massive rocks and put it in my backpack, which I don't have. Go to the watchtower marked on your map. I don't seem to have a map. Oh, I'm here. Talk to Watcher Reese. Are you Watcher Reese? You're not one of those filthy drowned. You made it through a red storm and still have the glint of a soul in your eyes. I've seen so many lost now over the years, so many. That's an interesting box you're carrying. I might know someone who would like to get a look at it, but first take these boots. You won't last long on Aeternum barefoot. Okay. Level 2. I'm Watcher Reese, and it's my job to comb this beach for shipwreck survivors and hold back the drowned tide. I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but these undying bastards have overrun the beach, especially around the nearby shipwreck. I could really use your help to cut down their numbers if you think you can hack it. Whoops. Remember when fighting the drowned, pick your battles and don't let them gang up on you. You may seem slow, but I've seen them do horrible things to even the hardiest of fools. Oh, they may seem slow. I thought he was telling me I was slow. I get a bow? So anybody who watches my videos knows, if I can have a bow, I'm using the bow. Inventory. Let's do my new boots. Tattered pants I already have. Tattered shirt I already have. I doubled my starting inventory. I do like that when you're in menus and talking to the NPCs, like the other people around you, keep moving in real time. It's kind of like a standard MMO thing, but I have seen some MMOs where it like zooms in on the person you're talking to and like just makes everything else outside of that conversation disappear. So investigate the shipwreck marked on your map and kill the drowned. I'm guessing it's this massive shipwreck right here in front of us. Kill the drowned, but they're already dead. Mission accomplished. Guys, I got him. Draw your sword. Get him. Oh, you should get bonus damage for sneaking up on him without them seeing. Just my opinion. Oh yeah, baby. The gameplay, like the combat feels really good. The graphics are really good. See if we both gang up on the same guy, if we both get credit for it. Come on. Yeah, do something. What are you doing? You're gonna attack him. What the heck? What did he just attack? Not this dude. Looks like he was trying to, but he like way overshot his attack. It looks like we both got credit. So I'll let him hit him first, okay. Now let me hit him. No, don't kill him yet. We do, sweet. We can only attack other players if they're also flagged for PvP and in an opposing faction. I wasn't trying to attack him, I was trying to kill the zombie. So as long as I get a hit on the guy, or as long as somebody gets the hit on the guy that I'm fighting, both of us get credit for it. That's pretty sweet. That's also like a newer MMO thing that just started in the last few years of MMOs. used to be that if one character aggroed or attacked the enemy first, they would get the credit for the kill. And nobody else could even attack the enemy. They could try, but it would just say that the target doesn't belong to you. But it has been a few years since I've played any MMOs seriously, so for all I know, this is all like regular day-to-day stuff for MMO games nowadays. Seems like it's very busy. I like how it shows a little icon of the person's face next to their talk in the chat. That's funny. I can see by the ichor on your clothes that you've had some success. Lucky for us that you haven't yet fallen. We can always use more strong arms on this godforsaken island. So many arrived so beleaguered from the journey, so weak, so frightened, they're easily lost. Give me my bow. For your own survival, you should make yourself a flint, skinning knife, and other tools. Gather flint and wood. I already have flint. There's an ample supply of each here on the beach. When you have enough, come back here and use my campfire to craft your knife. You should always feel free to rest and recover at a campfire whenever the need arises, for it very well may save your skin. Gotcha. So let's go upgrades. Increases damage of ranged weapons. Yeah. Magical attacks, but we're never going to do any of that. Can I even decrease this? Carry the points over to something else? Increases maximum health. We also want that. Yeah. Weapon mastery. That is cool. So the more you use a weapon, the more it levels up, and then you can use the point you get from leveling it up to unlock more moves for it. So let's go here. Let's get my bow. Yeah. We have no arrows, of course. How could I be so stupid? I'm just gonna smack things with my bow. Can I have arrows? Do you have any arrows? You have any arrows? You'll find supply caches like these all over the island, left behind or forgotten, who cares? Don't feel bad about taking anything you need, just be quick about it. Trust me, the last thing you want is to let these soulless wretches get the drop on you while neck deep in your knapsack, so you don't even have to buy stuff, you can just take whatever you need. That's pretty cool. There have been even more of these violent storms as of late. I hear the crash of thunder and see the bolts of red lightning in the distance from my place at the watchtower. I am haunted that I cannot do a thing but wait to see if survivors wash up on the shore. Half of those who do wash up here are often too broken to be of any use, well on their way to becoming a drowned or a withered. Am I truly so powerless as to not be able to do anything for them? Ooh. He has 3 pages around here somewhere. Ooh, he gave me 7 arrows. How do I equip them? Flint arrows, yeah. So that's interesting. Like, a lot of MMOs are going the opposite way, where they don't make you have ammo for your ranged weapons. You just, like, have infinite ammo all the time. So the fact that they're kind of taking a step to the old classic way of making you have ammo for your weapon is interesting. It's an interesting decision to make. Hello, Johnny Chang. Oh, it's Chung. My bad. I need wood. I don't need any more flint, I don't think. Where's wood? Give me wood. Gather wood from a nearby bush. Oh, okay, I need a bush. Give me a bush. It's just like a bush. That's not a bush. Bush. Got it. Craft a flint skinning knife at the Watcher's campfire. Will do. Seems promising. I don't know if I would play it long term when it does finally come out, but I'm glad I got a chance to try it anyway. I would have been wondering. I would have wondered. Like, everybody can craft at the same time. That's pretty cool. Skinning knife. Craft. Gather speed, gear score. Click anywhere, continue to craft. Salvage. So I'm wondering if there are ways that you can increase the gear score when you craft something. That looks like a fine tool. You've done a good job for your first time. Crafting tools like this one is essential to gathering all the bounty this island has to offer. Now let's make use of it and skin a few boars. Yeah. You may have already noticed, but we have another problem here beyond the leagues of drowned in your curious box from your captain. Boars have infested my main supply cache and completely ruined it. However, these fattened boar are a great opportunity for a famished newcomer like yourself to use that skinning knife and gather some fresh red meat. Okay. And I'm gonna get some pants. I need pants. Investigate the area marked on your map. Again, I don't feel like I have... Oh, I do have a map. I just have to pull it up. There's no mini-map? That's an interesting decision. Get some more wood. Ooh, for some reason I gathered from that one like way quicker. I guess it's because it was a smaller bush. I get it. The graphics are so good. Someone just felled a tree? That's awesome. You can actually aim in real time. That's pretty sweet. Your headshots do more damage. That's pretty sweet. I do have to figure out how to smack a boar with my bow. Apparently. Dude, you're like watching. You're not doing anything. Help. Help. Now I need to skin. Yes. I am actually enjoying this. This is pretty cool. I don't know what that guy was doing. He was just watching me die. I do need to figure out how to do... How to make a quick slot. Oh, okay. Unlocked at level 5. Gotcha. I don't have enough ammo left. I have no ammo left. So let's go here. I think it looks like I'm going to guess that weapons actually have durability in this game. It says gear score and damage. So I'm wondering if that means, like, over time your weapon can actually just get destroyed. Oh yeah, baby. Which is interesting. Keanu Reeves is in here? He just reached level 3. To get the area marked on your map, it's still 30 meters away. Boulder. I don't have a pick. What's this dude doing? Is that what happens when you look in your inventory? It is. I didn't even notice. That's pretty cool. Boar infestation, landmark charted, hunt boar. I already did. Here's another book of his supply manifest. Found in Everfall boar infestation. Food supplies, 3 crates of berries, 10 bushels of corn, 5 gourds, 3 sacks of grain. This should be enough to get you through the next shipment, Reese. So that's page 2 of 3 for this area. Gotcha, so now I have to hunt boar where I was supposed to be. Is there a jump button? Probably not, huh? Lame. Here, I'll help you, you're losing. Oh, you hit me! Did the boar hit me or did the dude hit me? It's a good question. Can we both skin him? No. We cannot both skin him. Cook a light ration from the health recovery category at a campfire. Campfire. Means I probably have to go back. I can see how this could definitely be a promising game. Like, obviously we're just seeing the very beginnings of it. I do like the fact that it's very quick leveling at the beginning. Like, every quest that we complete has essentially given us a level. And a lot of MMOs, like, it takes like hours just to get to level 10. This MMO, it looks like it's gonna happen like pretty instantly. Leave, because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Craft. A health, what are we crafting? I already forgot. Craft a light ration. Light ration. Yeah. We did it. We're the best player of this game that's ever existed, guys. Did it. Maybe it's just me, but nothing smells quite as good as the scent of freshly butchered boar cooking on an open fire. Hunting and preparing meals are important skills to learn. You're not going to starve to death, but eating does help you recuperate after a hard-fought battle. Besides, who would ever want an eternity of hunger? So that's interesting. Like, they specifically point out that there's no, like, survival game mechanics in this game. Like, there's no starving, there's no getting hungry. I have another favor to ask of you in this wretched place. You're not the first nor the last whose voyage here has ended in disaster. The gruesome evidence is all around us. This unfortunate wreckage of ships and lives holds secrets we must still uncover. Somebody lost, thinking they had come to secure paradise. Paradise this place is not. I must stay here and keep this tower secure in case more survivors somehow made it through the graveyard of lost souls. I need you to search the shipwreck and bring back anything interesting you can salvage. Okay. Let me put my pants on first. So now we have the ability to do... Nope. No, we do not. I thought we were level 5. What level are we? Oh, this shipwreck's farther away. Oh, uncharted landmarks. Gotcha. So we gotta go to the right. That shipwreck over there. You see it? Can't zoom in with the sword out, but it's right over there. You can see, like, the crow's nest. You can sprint. I don't know if I really truly understand the stamina system in this game yet. Because there is one. Because when I was fighting that boss battle at the intro area, like, it kept not letting me dodge and roll and stuff because my stamina bar was all the way up. Yeah, get him, Keanu Reeves, get him. Keanu, what are you doing? Let him hit me. Keanu. I thought we were friends, Keanu. Is he gonna respawn? No, you're amazing. Church crates near Harpy of Henninger. Oh god! Thank you. I didn't even see him. What's this? Oh. Arrows? Don't mind if I do. There's a lot of bad guys in this area. You guys keep them busy. I'm gonna search crates. 1 of 3. Holy, got lots of stuff. Guessing one is gonna be over here. I'll help you. No, Keanu. No. No, you leave Keanu alone. You're helping Keanu. Gambler's dice, sweet. Wonder if you can play games in this, like mini games. Got him. It didn't register. It's not registering. None of these hits are registering. That enemy is apparently glitched. Okay. Well then. It's a new game, guys. It's still in beta. Okay, give it a break. Kill and search the drowned near the Temperance. How about you guys? Are you glitched? They are both glitched. Near the Temperance. Where's the Temperance? Way back there. Okay. Am I gonna have to swim? I think it's an interesting decision not to have a mini-map of some sort. The water is doing some weird glitchy things. Someone's behind me. Oh god! Oh, he's getting his butt whooped. Don't come at me. Don't come at me and then be surprised when I kick your butt. Look at this. You cannot swim. No swimming in the preview so far. Oh, look, someone just answered. How do I fish? Oh god. So dead. Wait a second. If there's no swimming in the preview, then how am I supposed to get to where I'm supposed to get? Seems like an area that you would have to swim to. What are you? Who are you chasing? Who do you want to hurt so badly? People are already level 15. The thing's only been out for today. Must have been playing all day long. See someone walking through the water over here, so apparently this water is shallow enough that we can just walk across. Someone's standing very cinematically atop the tallest rock. The Temperance landmark unlocked. Oh, you're so dead, dude. Like, I like how my light attack kind of gives them like a mini stun, so if I just keep spamming it, they have no chance to actually attack back. Kind of cheap, but it works for me. I missed it. Okay, so you can kind of chain attacks together. Arcane bottles. Kill and search the drowned near the Temperance. Oh, I forgot to search the other one. My bad. I'm interested to know like how many people signed up for the beta and how many players they had actually try it, and like how many pre-orders they already have. This is a bouncy piece of land. Because like obviously an MMO only succeeds on the back of its player base. So like if people aren't pre-ordering the game, it's a sign, like, it's probably a bad sign for when they actually release it. Because it was actually already, pretty sure it was already supposed to be out. Like, it was supposed to come out in August of this year. But they delayed it. Got him. Need to kill and search 2 more to get the objective. Solvents. I heard someone screaming. Yeah. I wish like the momentum of your run gave you more damage when you attack. I got a new mastery point for my sword. Oh no. So I will say, like, obviously, you can probably guess since I don't regularly play an MMO on my channel, like, even though I said earlier that I've tried almost every single one that's ever come out just to see if any of them ever, like, really grabbed me and hold my attention, none of them have ever actually grabbed me and held my attention long enough for me to continue playing them long term. And that is a situation that, like, to this day, I've just kind of given up on ever happening. Like, I don't think an MMO is my kind of game in general, but I'm willing to try them. Because I am still kind of, like, clinging on to the hope that one day I'll find the MMO that, like, has all of the perfect characterizations that will make it a game that I'm actually willing to, like, stick around and play long term. So far, I'd say WildStar is, like, the closest one to it, which, like I said, I'm still very highly disappointed that that game failed. Slashing attack that transitions into a powerful reverse stab. That's pretty cool. Get out of here. The combat is really good, though. Like, that's one thing I definitely will give it, like, right off the bat, is combat's very good. I don't have a point for that, I only have a point for my sword. Keen Blade increases sword damage by 5%. That sounds good. Nice. Okay, so search a crate near Huang's hammer. Who's Huang? And why did he drop his hammer? Fresh water, I can drink out of it? Just had an E come up saying fresh water, and it disappeared. interested to kind of glance down at the chat every once in a while and see like what everybody's general opinion of the game is so far. Can we check into more than one inn at a time? Interesting. No. Can only be bound to one inn at a time. Okay, so it's like World of Warcraft type of deal. Like the inn is your home, where you can like, I'm guessing, have some sort of host stone system in this game. You can like teleport back to the inn. How to get water for tinctures? Is oil like a rock or a puddle? So question, why play anything other than hatchet? Any idea how to craft water? Turn on the damn TV, turn on the phone calls and text. Almost any shallow water in cities have wells to draw water from. I was looking at chat, I didn't realize that that was actually another player. I thought it was an enemy charging at me. Think we're going the right way? No, not really. Arbor Uwu is sleeping. And of course, one of the other reasons I don't like MMOs generally is you get the people who just go on chat and try to troll people and talk nonsensical gibberish, perverted, ridiculous conversations for no reason. Any idea why I can't repair some equipment? No, no idea. Oh, and now they're talking politics in chat. That's fun. That's fun. This is like why I typically play single player story games. It's because when you add other people into a game where like they can just freely converse, which is not a bad thing, like for MMO obviously you want that, but like it's not my type of socializing, because it's like they can talk about whatever they want and like it just comes up on my screen. Like I can't do anything about it. I'm sure I can like turn the chat off completely, but then if anybody actually does have anything like productive or helpful to say, I miss it. So it's like either read all of the random BS junk that is like 99% of chat in these games, and the little bit of helpful stuff, or just read nothing at all and pretend like you're playing a single player game essentially, which defeats the whole purpose of an MMO to begin with. Which is interesting because Elder Scrolls plays similarly to this, Elder Scrolls Online, and it has like a similar style to the combat and stuff, and it actually is advertised as like an MMO that you can play by yourself if you choose to do so. Which to me kind of defeats the whole point of playing an MMO. If I want to play a game single player, I'll just play a single player game. Like, why waste my time? Snowball, welcome to the chat. How's it going? Hello, Bubby. I was about to ask how you were liking the game, but it sounds like you're already counting the reasons not. No, I was just pointing out like the reasons generally I don't play MMOs. And like the public chat being full of all kinds of disgusting filth for no reason is like one of a long list of reasons why MMOs have never really held my interest long term. Generally speaking, so far I really like this game. Like the graphics for an MMO game are really good, and the gameplay is really good. Like the actual battle, like the combat is really smooth and really fluid, has a lot of depth to it. Blocking, dodging, which I mentioned earlier might be like old hat for MMOs anymore, but the last MMO I played was like Guild Wars 2, which was from I think 5 years ago now, 6 years ago. Oh, positive comments, parrying. I haven't found a parrying system yet, but I would be surprised if they don't have one, because it seems like the perfect game for a parrying system, because it's kind of like pirate age timeline. So like you would think if most of the combat is sword fighting, you'd have a parrying system. But yeah, generally I'm actually really enjoying it. So tell me the plot so far. We don't know. Like we were on a ship with a captain, and this is supposed to take place in like the 1700s, which is why it's called New World, because it's supposed to take place around the same time that we were like exploring and colonizing different areas, like North America. And at the beginning of the game, we were on a ship exploring and colonizing land, and all of a sudden, like, this big thunderstorm happened with like big red lightning bolts and stuff came up out of the water and essentially just destroyed our ship. And then that's why you see all these shipwrecks all over the place. And apparently there are these things called the drowned, which are like undead. And we're all just in the beginning island, like, trying to fight the drowned and get resources for this Watcher Reese dude. And then that's about as much as we know as far as the storyline so far. Ghost pirates, like Pirates of the Caribbean, like the Ghost Pirate Roberts. I guess he was the Dread Pirate, right? Maybe he wasn't the ghost necessarily. Hey, thank you. That is another thing I like about it, is it plays similarly to Guild Wars 2 in the way that, like, if I'm in the middle of doing something and another player randomly walks up and joins in, like, they get credit for it too, which is an interesting system because a lot of older MMOs didn't do that. Like, even if you tried to join in, you don't get any credit for it if somebody else got the first hit. So it definitely, from first glance, it seems to really promote co-op play, like people helping each other out in the open world, which is cool. Because like I was saying earlier about Elder Scrolls, like a lot of MMOs nowadays, it almost plays like you can play it single player without ever interacting with another person at all. It seems like this game promotes like actually helping other players and playing along. You found some interesting objects in all of this sorrow. Strange to think these mindless beasts were once like you and me. Even stranger is their undying lust for Azoth, as evidenced by the glowing blue residue in these bottles. In this cauldron, it most certainly once held a good deal of Azoth, but how would these creatures come by Azoth in such quantities? There is a large cavern nearby. I suppose they could be hoarding the substance in there, and if they are, we can be in real trouble. So I do have a box, and there was a cutscene at the beginning of the game where the captain of my ship got a box from this priest. And the priest said, have you ever seen the power that they have and the things that they can do? And he was talking about these undead people, which I think they called the corrupted. And he said, I've seen it, and you're not ready for it, or something along those lines. And like my captain took this box, and I have it, but the game is telling me I can't find out what to do with it until I continue like helping this Watcher Reese dude. These mindless bastards have been dragging on iron-bound casks into the nearby cavern. It's possible they may be hoarding a supply of Azoth, but why? Azoth is capable of amplifying all sorts of forces and sings a siren song of doom to all. Will you investigate this cavern to discover why the drowned would be amassing Azoth that might save all of our skins? And I can get a shirt. Sweet, I want a shirt. An interesting design decision is they have archery in this game, but you actually have to get arrows. Like a lot of MMOs, you don't have to get ammo. If you have a ranged weapon, you just have infinite ammo. It just depends on the cooldown of the attacks. So when you do an attack, it has a cooldown. Then you can only attack so rapidly or so many times in so much time. In such a space of time, I should say. But in this game, you actually have to craft arrows for your bow, which is really interesting to me. Like most MMOs don't do that. Need feathers. You're not ready for it? How dare ye? I am ready. How do you get feathers? I would assume birds, right? We need to kill a bird. The other thing I haven't really liked about it so far is there doesn't appear to be a mini-map. Like all I have is this compass on the top of the screen that generally points in a vague direction of where I need to go. But there's no actual mini-map of the game to like tell me where the paths are or which way I'm intended to go. Which I don't really like that. I'd prefer to have a mini-map on the screen than just have to pull up this massive map every time I want to see where I'm at. And for all I know, that's a setting that I just don't know about, but if that's the case, then they need to make it clearer. Like, the graphics are so good. Like, this plays and looks like a regular, like, blockbuster single-player game. The graphics are really good. And that's appealing to me, because that's, like, one of the big selling points of a game to me is how it looks. Which sounds silly, I know, but that's just how I am as a gamer. If I'm playing a really long game, I want to, like, enjoy what I'm looking at while I'm playing it, too. Yeah, an on-screen map would definitely be helpful. Yeah. And what those in the gaming realm call a bit of a graphics whore. Like, I will choose to or not to play a game just because of what the graphics look like sometimes. Which I'll honestly admit is one of the big reasons I haven't really had many Nintendo consoles in the past couple generations, because Nintendo games haven't exactly had the best looking graphics on the Wii and the Wii U. Own it, yeah. And I am not blocking. Oh, actually, people in the chat right now in the game are saying there's a mini-map, how do I turn it on? Oh, someone said no, I meant the direction compass on the top of your screen. Oh, yep. So yeah, there is no mini-map. Apparently I wasn't the only one hoping for one, because everybody in chat instantly was like, really? What? How do I turn it on? Well, hopefully the creators of the game will see that as a big complaint from most of the people playing it, and they'll change that. Because this is still in beta. This is like one of the first beta tests. You don't think Nintendo is on the scale? I mean, the Switch has better graphics. Like, the Switch is the closest Nintendo's gotten to, like, modern-day graphics being on the same level as everybody else. But even then, I've been playing some Switch games since I bought mine. I just got Xenoblade Chronicles, which is a remake of a Wii game. And, like, even then, the graphics are still, like, borderline. Like, I'll play the game, and I enjoy the gameplay so far from what little I've tried. I've played like an hour into it. But like the textures on the characters, all of their clothes and their armor just look fuzzy. Like they look blurry as hell. And like even the textures on the environment in the game, like it's all rocks, but it just looks like a big flat wall of brown. Like it doesn't look very good. Whereas even this game is like, the rocks have their own individual textures and like raggedy, like if you look closer, it almost looks like it has like pocks, like indents on the texture. At least the paint makes it look like that. Even if it is a flat wall, at least the paint of the texture is made in a way that it looks like it has imperfections. But then when you look at it at this angle, you can tell it doesn't. Like it is just a flat wall, but the texture coloring is made in a way that it makes it look like it has depth, and it makes it look like it has nooks and crannies in the rock. So like, they do a lot with that. With just the paint of the texture. That's actually pretty cool. I would not have expected it to just, wow, I'm gonna get my butt kicked. Run! I would not have expected that to just be a flat surface looking at it, because that looks like it actually has texture on it. So that's cool that they were able to do that. Whereas this game I'm playing on the Switch, like, they didn't even try. It's just like a big brown wall. Gives it more of a 3D impression. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't see Nintendo ever trying to get better than the cartoony graphics that are pretty much part of their brand. Yeah, but even the cartoony graphics, like if you play a Mario game, like let's say like Mario Odyssey is the one that's on the Switch, like it looks decent, like it looks like a modern game looks, but it's still just not a very high resolution. And then when you're playing it, like that's all I can think about while I'm playing it is like, man, I really wish this game had like, was on a console that had more power. Because those cartoony graphics could look really, really good in like 4K or even like a full HD resolution that maintains its resolution as you play and doesn't like dip as the game plays. Like, I can't say how many times in my lifetime I've played a Nintendo game and been like, man, I really wish this was on a console that could actually do justice to the graphics in this thing. You're saying they could even improve the cartoon quality? Yeah, like, the cartoon looks better if it has like smoother edges. So like even if it's in a cartoon like Mario, if it still has like blocky edges, like his hat, instead of being like smooth and like being able to see the fabric texture on the hat, it's like just one solid color, and then the hat edges are like blocky looking, like polygon looking. Like that's when you start thinking, man, if this was made on like a computer, this would look really good. Like it would look super smooth. But the graphics in this, like I said, for an MMO game, like it's super impressive. They usually don't pay too much attention to the graphic capability of an MMO game. This, like, obviously it has its own style too, like it's very stylized graphics. But if you put this pirate game up against like Sea of Thieves, like I think this looks 100 times better than Sea of Thieves does. And I know Sea of Thieves has its own style, it's kind of like cartoony, but this game, like, I don't know, as, like, even if you put this game up against a modern day game on current generation consoles like Assassin's Creed, I still think this looks better. Like, they did some, I think they used their own game engine that Amazon made for this game, and they did a really good job with it. It looks really good. Like, that's one of the, like, I'd say if there was like a list of 5 things I would need a game to have to keep my interest, that's like one of the top, that would be in the top 5 list. And this game does a good enough job that that's a check mark right there. Like, the graphics are like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong there. These graphics would keep my interest long term for sure. And for you, this is a glowing review. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is doing all of the things right that I would want from an MMO. Like, combat, it keeps me interested because it's like actual, it keeps me involved. Like, it's not just sitting here spamming 1, 2, and 3 over and over again and just waiting for my cooldowns to end. And waiting for the guy to die. Because that's like what most MMOs are, is you just spam like your quest or your skills on the keyboard shortcuts, which are like usually 1, 2, 3, 4. You just keep spamming those in between cooldowns until the guy dies. This game, like, you actually have to be involved in the combat. You have to move, you have to dodge, you have to block. And if they do actually show later on in the game that there's a parry system as well, like, it would be awesome. That's like the perfect combat system in an MMO game. And like, the combat doesn't feel boring. Like, even after I kill multiple of the same thing over and over again, it still feels like I'm actually doing something. It doesn't feel like, oh, well, after the 4th or 5th one I kill, it's just like, okay, now it's nothing. Like, now I just hit the button over and over again and he's dead. There's more thought involved. That's important. Well, you're only an hour in. Well, yeah, that's the thing about MMOs, though, is like you don't see 90% of the gameplay typically in an MMO. You don't like really see the deep, in-depth gameplay until you get like to the higher levels. So like level 50, level 60, whatever the game's max level is usually where you start seeing like the really deep gameplay elements that they start introducing. So like, for all I know, like 30 hours of gameplay later in this game, you could find a parry system exists that they never told you about earlier in the game. That you only need for like high-level dungeon bosses or something like that. I don't know. Give it time. Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any intentions of playing this long-term. I wanted to play it just because I got the beta key this morning unexpectedly. And I figured, hey, if I have a key and it's free, why not check it out and see what it's like? So I don't have any intentions of having this blow me away so completely that I'm like, oh yeah, from now on I am a New World streamer and that's all I'm ever going to play. But if we keep playing it during this beta and like it draws me in enough for me to wake up tomorrow and be like, man, I want to play some more New World, I'll consider it. I'll consider coming back and playing more of it long term. I don't know if I see that happening. No MMOs have really kept my interest that long for me to play them long term past like the starter area. But if it happens, we'll keep going with it. Someday I'll blow them all away. Let me get this bush real quick. Yeah. I need wood for something. I have to, right? They wouldn't put so much wood here if I didn't need it. Someday I'll blow them all away. To the other side. I think the fundamental concept of an MMO is not quite in line with the style of game that generally most appeals to you, and that's okay. Yeah, that's kind of, I was mentioning that earlier too. Like, my general kind of game that I like to play is like a story-based, like deep lore, single-player game. Like, I don't play a whole lot of multiplayer games. And like fundamentally, like you said, an MMO is kind of the exact opposite of that. Like they generally have a backstory involved. Otherwise, like there's no purpose of being here and doing what we're doing. But usually the story is very light, and usually the story is very, very simple. Just as like a backdrop of why you're in this, and like you exist in this world and you're killing all these things and doing all these quests. So far, the only MMO I've played that had a story that really appealed to me was Final Fantasy XIV, and then after I played like through the original base story, I had no interest in playing the expansions. Like, at that point, I was like, okay, now they're just gonna keep writing more story in order to keep people's interest and keep making money. But the main story of Final Fantasy XIV actually really appealed to me. I liked it a lot. Those rotting fools depleted their own Azoth resources in their unliving greed. Lucky for us, the drowned are a lot less intelligent and organized than our true enemy, the forces of corruption, who will you learn about in due time if you make it that far. Either way, the Watchtower lives to see another day. Thanks to you, Magistrate Clark will want to hear of this development. We're out of the starting area. Up the road is the Everfall settlement. The people there are who I've sworn to protect from the drowned on this beach. Magistrate Clark, who I know runs a tight ship, will definitely know someone who can help you open that curious box. Excuse me. Clark will be eager to hear of the way you've helped here as well, driving back to Drowned Tide to see they depleted their Azoth stash, and assuring the settlement stays a safe place for people to live and thrive in. Take this writ to Clark so that he may learn of your deeds at Everfall's defense. I've marked his location on your map. Let me introduce myself. Open the map. I like how it waited this long to tell me how to open my map. Okay. Now what? Sign up for a war at a war board in this town. Talk to Magistrate Clark. Where is it? Oh my god, that's a long way away. I gotta follow the southeast path, which is this way. There's apparently a night-day cycle too. I don't know how long in-game it takes for a whole day to cycle through, but apparently less than an hour. That's how long we've been playing. What is my character's name? Bubby Ruski, of course. Felt like it really captured the time of the game, you know? You seem to like games with a set beginning, middle, and end, not just lore, but a linear projection. Yeah, exactly. I like a game... So, like, if I broke down the two main things I want a game to have, it's a set story that has a beginning, a middle, and ends, and the story develops as you play the game, not just like broken up into a beginning cutscene, a middle cutscene, and an end cutscene. Like, I like the story to progress as you play, but as you play, I like the gameplay to constantly evolve and develop too. So, like, that's why I like Zelda games so much, because it doesn't really have much story in a Zelda game, but the gameplay constantly evolves as you play it. Like, you get a new weapon, and then it unlocks all new areas and all new things you can do with it. And that's like, for some reason, most games always have one or the other, and like very few games have like a story that evolves constantly as you play and a gameplay that evolves constantly as you play. Like, it's really hard to find games that have both. There's a natural progression. Oh yeah, and good graphics, yeah. So 3 things a game has to have. I don't mean like progressing the gameplay, like you can increase your, like you can learn new skills in a skill tree. I mean like gameplay that actually changes completely as you play the game. Like Death Stranding was really good with that, because like you'd learn of things you could do in the game world that you didn't even know existed at the beginning of the game. Like when you got zip lines like 3/4 of the way through the game, that until that point you didn't even know zip lines existed. Like, that's the type of stuff I like. Like a game that just completely flips itself over multiple times as you play. It's really cool. I don't expect that to ever be an MMO. MMOs are pretty much cookie cutter, like what you see from the very beginning is what you get for the entire length of the game. Apparently that's how you get feathers. I need to find a turkey. There's a boar. Need a turkey. That guy just killed a turkey. Where do I find a turkey? At least it looked like a turkey. Maybe I was seeing things. Maybe it was a boar. I don't know. Could have sworn it looked like a turkey when I saw it. You know, for as big as your hammer is, it's not doing a whole lot of damage, dude. Might want to get yourself a sword. There it is, turkey. Give me your feathers, turkey. I knew it looked like a turkey. I knew I wasn't crazy. 5 feathers. That's not enough feathers. I need more feathers. Turkey! More feathers. I was wondering where you get feathers from. That seemed like an odd crafting element to ask for. I can craft here, right? Yeah, I can. Yeah. Now I can actually use my bow. That's exciting. What is this? Iron? I don't have iron. So that's how you level your what can you craft with feathers, arrows? Yeah. 25? Nice. That's way more than I can find. When you find them, you only get 5 at a time. So it's interesting that it seems like instead of leveling your crafting skills, the only thing you need to change when you actually craft higher level... Oh, never mind. You do have to level it. So when you craft a higher level arrow, all you have to do is change the element you use when you're crafting, which is a really cool idea. Like, you don't actually have to level your crafting skill, you just have to get better elements to craft the higher level stuff, which is makes more sense than just leveling something on a board. Unlocking it from a skill tree or something. I'm going the wrong way. So now I can quick change. Got my sword, got my bow. Oh yeah. 45 arrows. I'm ready. I'm ready for anything that comes. Perseus. Not sure what that means, but it just showed up on the top of my screen. Perseus. Stars look pretty cool. I'm guessing people can make camps, because I don't think these are naturally in the game all over the place like this. I'm pretty sure, like, naturally the game only has camps at the major NPC areas. That's typically how that works. There are people chopping down trees left and right. Yeah, obviously you can craft them. Why are there so many? I guess people are trying to test the spawn limit of the map, maybe? Trying to see how many camps they can have in one area of the server without it lagging or breaking. Seems to run just fine. Trading tax 25%? What the hell is this place talking about? It's the highest tax I've ever heard in my life. And I guess one of the cool features of this game is, like, there's factions. So when you start the game, you can choose what faction you're in. That's what these different colored areas of the map entail. Is like what faction controls that area of the map. And that's what the wars are for. So if you control a faction of the map, you'll see there's an ongoing war going on right now. It's showing, like, what, I'm guessing this is supposed to be a meter that shows which faction's winning. And, like, when you control the faction, or the area, when your faction controls that area of the map, you determine what the tax is, what the sell prices are for different items, what the buy prices are for different items. Like, you essentially are the governor of that town, like, as players. You can choose, like, oh, well, when someone comes into this area, it's going to cost them 10% tax for them to craft something in our town. And then that money goes to, I don't know who. I don't know if it goes to a pool that's distributed between all the players of that faction or what. You chose Everfall? No, I think that's the starting area for everybody, maybe. So there's economy. Like, yeah, it's like a player-driven economy. Hello and welcome. I am Magistrate Clark, the man who makes sure that Everfall Settlement is running smoothly. Well, mostly paperwork. I haven't seen your... Oh, mostly paperwork. I haven't seen your face around this fine settlement before, and I certainly haven't ever seen a box like that before. Somebody around here may be able to help open it, but first things first. What's this? A rip from Watcher Reese. You assisted him in driving back the Drowned? This is wonderful news, though it is curious that the Drowned were collecting Azoth in the first place. Could they be evolving to be more like the Corrupted? Either way, we need someone strong like you around here to get things done. If your pack is getting heavy with the profit of your exploits, you should meet Trader Tuckett. They're the most honest merchant you'll find on this island, and they'll tell you how to get your start buying and selling goods in the Aeternum way. Go speak with Tuckett now and get a basic grasp on the economy you've shipwrecked yourself into. Get it? Shipwrecked? Because I literally got here from a shipwreck. Let's all have a good laugh. I can do without the puns, game, okay? This is a serious game. Serious business. Trader Tuckett. Wait, dropped items. Did I drop an item? Hello, Trader Tuckett. The game is starting to lag a little bit. I think there's a lot of people in this one town. Greetings, traveler, which leads me to believe we'll be in this town for a long time. Greetings, traveler. I'm Trader Tuckett of Everfall, and you look like you could use a helping hand getting used to how to trade. Here is the trading post, a place of exchange where goods can be bought or sold through buy and sell orders. You can make yourself rich off the market here if you play your cards right. Me, I just like seeing that everyone gets what they would need. Everything from equipment to food can be exchanged for coin here. It's a great place to stock up on ammo or peddle your crafting wares, so don't bother making any shady trades in the woods where things can be stolen by wandering bandits when you've got this safe alternative. So I'm wondering if, like, some NPC or some MMO games make it so the NPCs you buy and sell from have set items with set prices. I'm wondering if this game actually has a marketplace, like a trade board where you can put your crafted items up on the market for other player characters to come in and peruse and buy, because that would be a cool feature. Why don't you try making a buy or sell order now, or at least taking a look at what's for sale? There can be all sorts of treasures in the trading post for those with a keen eye and a sense of economics. Buy low, sell high, all that. I'm not formally studied in the manner, but you needn't be here in Aeternum, a land where anyone can make their fortune on equal footing. Go to the trading post and see what's been posted. Yeah, so it's like a big marketplace, essentially, like an eBay of sorts, where you can just put up whatever you want for sale, and then other players can, like, browse and buy stuff that you put up for sale, which is a really cool system. I like that. Zoom in, please. Where is the trading post behind me? Yeah, it's definitely starting to slow down a little bit. Like, there's a lot of people in this one area, which leads me to believe if there's people at level 12, 18, 20, this must be the area, like the zone of the map that you stay in all the way up until past level 20, which means we'll be here for a while. I can see people just doing that kind of buying, selling all day. Yeah, that's the thing about MMO games, is like, you can essentially choose how you level up and how you make your money. So some people literally will play an MMO and, like, not go do any quests, not do any combat. They'll just craft and, like, level themselves up through crafting and then, like, put it on the marketplace for other people to buy. And, like, that's what is appealing to a lot of people who play MMOs, is you can essentially choose, like, what life you want to live in this digital world. Like, you can go out and be, like, an adventurer or a combat specialist and, like, go do the wars and the battles with other players, or you can be somebody who just sits here and crafts and makes armor and weapon for the people who want to do that, which is really interesting. Would you like to check in? This will allow you to recall and respawn at this settlement from anywhere in the world. Sure. So they do have a Hearthstone system. Everfall is now your new recall point. Got it. This was not what I went to look for, though. I was looking for the trading board. I would assume there will be a lot of people around it. This must be it. It's like everybody's praying to this hut. It's like, oh yes, thank you, huts, for storing my items. That's silly. That's ridiculous looking. That is also trading post is supposedly right around here too, so where is it? I can't jump, and I think I just got myself stuck. I don't think there's a jump button. Okay, I can get out. Okay. A little awkward, that looked creepy. Yeah, it's like everybody's just kneeling in the exact same spot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, this game is getting like... Wow. Wonder what skill he has that lets him do that. There's too many people in the starting area. The game's kind of struggling to keep up with it. That's why they do these tests. It's a server test. Test how well it handles all the new players. And people are talking in the chat about having low frames, but I feel like mine's running just fine. Slowing down a little bit in this area, but not much. Where exactly is this? I keep walking past it. I can't seem to find it. You think they would make it easy, like they have banners in front of everything, but I don't know if the trading post has a banner. This is the inn. Is it here? Yep, it is here. Okay. So that's been sold. Somebody bought it. I can't tell if this is stuff people actually posted on the marketplace or if this is just the game randomly generates stuff to put on the marketplace. Because it does show things were posted at different times, but then everything has the same price. No, it doesn't. Okay, stone block 0.4 gold, stone block 0.3 gold, so people were trying to undersell each other. So yeah, it seems like... Seems like you can, well, let's sell something. Let's see what happens. Let's sell the shirt off my back. Just kidding, let's not do that. Let's do Warhammer, because I don't want to use a Warhammer. There are no existing buy orders. Sell order. Yeah, okay, cool. Listing unit price, transaction charge, your earning per unit, listing fee, new balance. People are selling it for 8, 10, 15. You know what? It doesn't matter to me at all. 5. Buy low, sell high. And in this case, I got it for free. So I can sell it for anything and make money off of it. See that? See that? Yeah. It will stay up on the marketplace for 24 hours before it expires. Gotcha. That's cool. I like that. I wish they would do that in single-player RPG games. Like, make it online. So, like, other people who are playing the single-player game can put stuff up on an auction house. And, like, let other people playing the single-player game get on there and, like, sell things or buy things. Because, like, that kind of asynchronous multiplayer would make a lot of single-player RPGs, like, a lot more involved. Like, if you can interact with other players in that way, where it's like you all live in the same world, so you all can, like, post your crafted stuff and buy it or sell it. There's even a listing fee. I personally haven't ever played a game with this kind of element before. This seems great for finance nerds. World of Warcraft had it to an extent, but it wasn't great. And then even Diablo 3, which actually does what I'm talking about right now. Like, Diablo 3 is mostly a single-player RPG, but when it first came out, they actually had a for-money auction house, and it was, like, literally for real money. Like, you could craft a high-level weapon in the game, put it on an online auction house that other players could go to, and those other players could actually, like, buy items with real money. And it was an interesting concept, but apparently they got a lot of flack for it, so they ended up shutting it down. I thought it was a good idea, personally. Like, I thought it was, like, advancing single-player gameplay a lot, like, having something like that in the game. But then a lot of people didn't like it, so they're like, no, you gotta take that down. Nobody wants to buy and sell things for real money inside a video game. I'm like, are you kidding me? That sounds genius. That sounds like where this stuff is eventually going to go anyway. I honestly think games will go there eventually too, and they were just ahead of the time. Because I remember when the game first came out, Diablo 3 first came out, there were like news articles in the news about people making like $300 cash from weapons that they put up on the auction house. I like that concept, but I can see anti-capitalists getting really upset. Where am I supposed to be going? Oh, the giant green orb. That makes sense. Here, now that you've seen what Eternum has to offer, maybe you can throw your hat in the trading ring too. Who knows what kind of profit you can turn with what your adventures bring in. Your journeys far and wide will take you to settlements similar to this one with economies and traders all their own. I'll be here as always, making sure your transactions go through safely and securely. Level 7. On the subject of safety and security, you must be wondering where the safest place to lay your head down is. All settlements have an inn established for this very purpose. The Everfall Inn is run by innkeep Kamau. Speak to her to create what I call an Azoth anchor to her inn. When you find the danger of the wilds become too great or time is of the essence, you can quickly recall yourself to her hearth. I recommend you also seek out a storage shed here in Everfall. It's always a good idea to lighten your load before venturing back into the wilds. We already looked at both of those things, so now we have to go look at them again. Where was the shirt I got? Much better than the satchel I got. Encumbrance plus 500, so I can carry more items now. Ooh, where did I get that? Pirate swashbuckler's coat. I want it. I want to be a swashbuckler. Look at me, guys. I'm a swashbuckler. Oh yeah, I look the part now. Visit the inn and then visit the storage shed. Got it. The inn's over here. And the storage shed's right next to it. Boop. Boop. Check. I do feel it's kind of weird that there isn't a jump button. Seems like you already checked into this inn. You can recall and respawn in the settlement from anywhere in the world. I'll go back and talk to Trader Tuckett again. Apparently my stream is also losing frames occasionally. I think it's mostly because of this game taking a lot of processing power with how many people are around. Looking better rested already. Are you starting to find your way around the settlement with ease? You will memorize the layout before you know it. May even, with time, come to call this place home with a house of your own. For now, though, there is someone else you need to meet, so they have player housing as well. That's interesting. The next person you should meet in Everfall will teach you a thing or two about what to do with all those raw resources you've scrounged up. The Overseer serves the settlement and organizes our community's efforts on behalf of our governor. She will most definitely want to meet you and teach you what she can, like she taught me when I first arrived on Aeternum. Go speak with Overseer Lewis to find out more. So this is all still like the starting area, because it's giving me like all of the original crafting items as quest rewards. So this is still technically like the starting zone. Which is why there's so many people here, because this is like where you'll probably end up spending the majority of your starting time in the game is in this town. I was about to say, I wish there was a jump button, but then the game made me jump over it automatically. Well, the new face in our settlement, I've been expecting you. I'm Overseer Lewis, and I have been here since the founding of the Everfall settlement. Things were simpler back then, before all you adventurers started washing up on our shore. Still, I bid you welcome to Everfall and hope you can prove yourself useful around here. The one thing that I have noticed about this game so far, which again, we're only an hour and a half in, and it's still the starting area, but there haven't been any side quests. Like, it's all just been streamlined through story quests from one to the other. I don't know if that's how the whole game plays, or if after you get out of the starting zone there are actually side quests to do. As Overseer, I make sure the settlement is in tip-top physical shape from the homes to the crafting and refinement stations. Those walls around the settlement need maintenance as well. I rarely leave their protective bounds other than to repair them. The settlement has need of stone, wood, and rawhide. Stone can be mended from boulders, wood chopped from trees, and rawhide skinned from animals. Please gather some of each for building repairs. So speaking of which, I'm actually really interested to see if cutting down a tree in the game actually permanently changes that in the game. Like if cutting down a tree permanently makes that tree disappear, or if it just like respawns 10 seconds later. Because it would be interesting if they made the game in a way that it has like finite resources. Or like if people were all gathering wood from the same trees in the same area, like eventually the forest would just no longer exist. It would just be gone. Hi? Hi, hello? Hi? Hello. Shock bulb. Requires something I do not have. See, look, like that guy just felled the tree. So now does that tree like stay gone? Or is it just gonna respawn like 5 seconds from now? That's cool though that you can see other people's trees falling in the distance. That's pretty cool. So now we're just gonna wait and see if these trees respawn on their own. So look at that, that's awesome. Like you can see it out in the distance, people knocking trees down. Like, will you have to plant trees to replace them? Let's go knock this one down since it's still close enough to these ones that we can keep an eye on it. That's another thing I've noticed too when you're crafting in this game, or not crafting, but like gathering in this game, is the speed which you gather changes depending on the actual physical size of the thing you're trying to gather from. So like if a tree is small, you can cut it down really quick. If a tree is big, it takes like much longer to do it. Which seems like a really cool feature to me too. Like even though this tree is a lot bigger than the other ones, I can still cut it down, but it's going to take way longer. I'm going to assume my hatchet has a durability too, so over time I'm probably going to lose it and I'll have to make a new one. Those trees haven't come back yet, but they could be on like a 10-minute timer or something. But that would be really interesting to me if the game actually like keeps that as a persistent change to the map now. Like now that I cut those trees down, they're just gone forever unless someone like plants a tree or seeds somehow get planted there, if that's even a thing in the game. That would be really interesting to me. Are you planning to do anything with those trees, or are you just destroying wildlife for fun? It says I need them. I still need 4 more wood. So you got it. Got all the wood. Now I need a mind stone from boulders. Boulders. This looks like a boulder. Is this a boulder? This is a boulder. That makes quite the sound. It's very loud. It almost echoes, like, out into the distance. Holy, that's a massive boulder. It's gonna take like 10 minutes for us to break. Yep. I wonder if they have an achievement in the game for like taking the time to harvest the largest boulder on the map. It takes like an hour and a half to just stand there and hold a button. You have achievement. I have no life. Just kidding. I know some people who play MMOs and spend literally hours just harvesting stuff to craft. No judgment. Some people probably think it's lame that I play games that are just story-based all the time. Upgrade? That's the first time I've had an upgrade. What's that? You have 2 unspent territory standing points. Ooh, what's that do? Standing gain, earn 5% more territory standing. Trading tax, decrease trading tax. Nice. Increase gathering speed. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Earn 5% more XP gain, so it randomly generates all 3 of these every time, because both of these other ones I didn't choose are different now. Huh. Now I get XP faster. There are no vendor NPCs. Best thing to do is sell on the trader post, salvage the item for mats, or shove it in storage and forget about it till later. So that's the other MMO. They're talking in chat about another MMO that's been in the making for a while that a lot of people are looking forward to playing, called Ashes of Creation. And apparently a lot of them are saying 100% Ashes beats this game out. So apparently, even though people are playing this game currently, they don't seem to be that impressed with it. You have some good old-fashioned sweat on your brow. Now that's a fine day's work here in Aeternum. Complete the things I've asked of you, and the reward will not only be coin, but knowledge about the town projects that improve our lifestyle here. I'm dancing. My guy's happy. Dance, dance, dance. Dance, dance, dance. Dance, dance, dance. Dance, dance, dance. Weapon case. What's in a weapon case? Who makes that game? I'm pretty sure Ashes of Creation is its own independent game studio that's making their first game. That is their first game. Oh, I got a gun. Sweet. That's got to be better than a bow, right? Do I have any ammo for it? Doesn't look like it needs ammo, which is strange to me, because why would you... No, it does, okay. I was going to say, why would you require ammo for the bow, but not ammo for the gun? But it does require ammo. Craft timber at the wood shop, craft stone at stone cutters, and craft coarse leather at the tanner. Okay, 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 okay. This must be... marketplace. Yeah, that's a trading post. Okay, so it does have a banner. I was just blind, didn't notice it last time. It's a crow with a little coin in his mouth. Where are these places I need to go? They're all lined up in one row. Okay, they're in the same alley. If we go to the crafting alley. Is this it? Yes. They're all down crafting alley. Don't get fancy, just get dancy. Everfall housing. $3,000 to buy a house? That's nothing. Where are we? Why can't I buy a $3,000 house today? Artificier. Hello, I'm the artificer in this town. My work speaks for itself. Let me know if I can be of assistance. I can't read, apparently. Forge tier 4. I want forge tier 1. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. So I need to find the clother, the stoner, and the wooder. You gotta be around here somewhere. Smelter. Smelt. I lost him in a horrible smelting accident. United in blood. My fellow marauders, if you will allow me a moment of extremely brief sentimentality, are among the bravest and most noble fighters on this island. Here in our faction, it matters not your creed or origin, but how ferociously you can fight and conquer. The Vitae Aeternum Pact dictates that we issue a test of strength to all newcomers, and once proven worthy, extend the offer of membership to them. It is disappointing to turn them towards the Syndicate, to give undeserved weight to their well-spun fantasies. But it is the price to pay to ensure potential recruits make a well-informed decision. They will then join up with us for life with no regrets. While all factions must band together to fight the corruption, the Marauders are without pretense an uncomplicated bunch united in bloodshed on the battlefield. What more could an adventure ask for? Commander Chowhan of Everfall. Okay, so there's a little bit of lore going on. On this island of eternal life, there have been established 3 parties of interest: the Marauders, the Syndicate, and the Covenant, that shall thusly be referred to as factions. These factions represent their individual interests and motivations that shall be introduced to every new denizen, henceforth referred to as the subject of Aeternum. These introductions shall take place in the order of signing. First Marauders, then Syndicate, and finally Covenant. Each settlement's magistrate shall direct the subject to the Marauder's representative of the corresponding settlement, who may issue a test of mettle in order to judge the subject's physical prowess. After said test, the Marauder representative must send the subject to the Syndicate representative of the settlement so that they may issue a test of wit in order to judge the subject's cunning. After said test, the Syndicate representative must send the subject to the Covenant representative of the settlement so that they may issue a test of valor in order to judge the subject's gallantry. Oh. Once all 3 tests have been issued, the subject is to return to the magistrate of the settlement and make a formal, immutable decision on which faction they wish to swear their undying allegiance. Henceforth, the subject shall belong to their chosen faction and be available to fight in wars for settlement and gubernatorial control, as well as conduct missions for influence within their faction. All members of each faction agree to conduct their fighting way from the settlement of Aeternum as they are hereby decreed sanctuary. So the pact is decreed, and so it shall be so for so long as there is life on Aeternum. So the Marauders are the fighters. Syndicate are test of wit in order to judge their cunning in battle. So they must be like strategists, I don't know. And then the Syndicate is a test of valor to judge the subject's gallantry. Who knows? Like that means I can't even begin to fathom what that means. Groot, welcome to the stream. How's it going? How's the game so far? It's a typical MMO, but the couple things that have stood out for me so far are the graphics are really nice for an MMO game, and the combat is really fluid for an MMO game. It's all real-time action combat. The beginning area is kind of overwhelmed with people, so it's kind of choppy. What am I supposed to be making? Wood shop, craft timber. Timber. Gunpowder, bullets, bows. I don't want to craft this stuff. I just want to craft timber. Give me some timber. Some timber, please. Some timber. Refined stone. Stone block. I can make a stone block. So something about, like, me and MMOs have a really rocky history. Like, I always have an interest in MMO. Like, MMO seems like the kind of game that would, like, be awesome if you could really get yourself, like, really interested in one. Because then, you know, like, you have one game that you can play all the time and not have to buy new games. But, like, I've never found an MMO that, like, maintains my interest for very long term. Like, the closest one has been Final Fantasy XIV, but after I beat the original main story, I had no interest in going and playing, like, the expansions. Like, it didn't seem like there was much point to it to me. And then the other one that really held my interest really well was WildStar, but that game failed and, like, closed down like a year after it was made, which was really disappointing to me, because that was my favorite MMO of all time. But this one seems like it has enough to keep somebody interested long term. And that's just in the starting area. I haven't really gotten very far yet, so who knows what else the game has. I'm sure there's dungeons and raids and all the typical MMO stuff. Trying to figure out why it's not letting me do... I need a wood shop. This is a workshop. I thought it was a wood shop. I'm an idiot. Stone cutting table. Stone cutting table. I need a wood shop. Guys, where's the wood shop? Is it on Steam, or how does one get it? It is on Steam. Right now you need a code, like a beta invite code. And that's honestly the only reason we're even playing this tonight, is because I woke up and Amazon emailed me unexpectedly a beta invite code. So I was like, well, if it's free and they're just asking me to play it, I might as well give it a shot, see what it's like. How many do I have to make? 20. I don't know if we'll keep playing it after tonight. I wanted to do like a first look and see what it was like. I did sign up to be a And I just signed up for it earlier today, probably around like 3 or 4, so I haven't heard anything back yet, but I did sign up to be a beta content creator partner with them. And if I hear back, I should be getting a bunch of keys to hand out to people. So if I do get keys, I'll make sure I get you one if you're interested. But I haven't heard back from them yet, so I don't know if my channel is big enough to appeal to that kind of thing yet. Probably not, to be honest. They'll probably be like, oh, he has like 50 followers? Oh, well. Try again next time. Wait until you're older. That would be cool. Why am I not finding the Tanner? Like, Danny Tanner? DJ Tanner? Any Tanner will do, really. I just need a Tanner. Uncle Jesse Tanner? Just kidding. Any real fans know his name wasn't Tanner. It was Casopoulos or something like that. There he is. There he is. I know what a Tanner looks like. Yeah. Nope. This is loom. Oh my god, you can make looms in this game? Why? What is the point? Outfitting station. Is there actually like a purpose for looms other than just looking loomy? There's the Tanner. There it is, yep. Is there actually like a legitimate purpose for looms that I've never actually understood or known about? Now I go back to Overseer Lewis again. Yeah, I know how MMOs work. Go back to the quest giver after every quest. I went the wrong way. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is there's no jump button. So like unless you go the specific scripted path that they want you to go in, you can't just like jump over stuff to make a shortcut. I can take some honey. But you can also go on the website, and I think you can still sign up for a request for a beta invite, and they might send one. No jump button? What? Yeah, they have like W and Shift are supposedly the built-in vault, so if something's short enough for you to vault over, it will automatically do it. But you can't actually manually jump. There is no jump button, which I thought was a little weird. So apparently there's not a whole lot of verticality in this game. There's not going to be like any platform puzzles or anything like that, because there's no way to do them. Now I have an armor case, so let's open that. We got a helm. My first helm! I'm a big boy now. It looks stupid. I don't like this helm at all. Take it back. Let's see what this does. View territory progression. We've upgraded everything. We're so good. Well, I like my bunny hopping on my way to do quests. Yeah, exactly. Like you... Wait a second. I lied to you. Apparently there is a jump button. The game just never told me there was one. What the heck, game? I just assumed, since it didn't tell me there was a jump button, there wasn't a jump button. You can do a little tiny hop. Hop, hop. I don't think that's technically a jump. I think that's a dodge. 'Cause that's what button I'm hitting to do it, is the dodge button. So I think it's technically just like a... Yeah, it's just a dodge. But I guess you could do that in place of a jump button. Go to the town projects board and accept an active town project. Okay. What is this? Just a glowy statue. Town projects, where are you? Stay away, bugger! No! Bugger, no! They took him! The others, they took him. Hunt 5 turkeys, that sounds like an easy one. Hunt 20 wolves, I haven't even seen wolves yet, so that's probably not the best one to try. Kill mission. Yeah. Hunt 5 turkeys. Is it not going to tell me where to go to find turkeys? No, it's not. That's disappointing. From the dust on your sleeves, I can tell you put in quite a bit of work at our workshop today. Well done. These skills of yours will improve the more you practice them, and checking out the town projects is always a worthwhile venture if you want to make Everfall a more advanced settlement. Another armor case. You guys are spoiling me. Beyond refinement is the actual crafting of weapons and more. You should take your budding skills to the next step by meeting with our artificer, Mary Petrowski. I know her well, and she should be glad to have another adventurer to train in the ways of artificing. Her crafts work is second to none. So what MMOs have you played, Groot, and what MMOs do you like? Because actually, before you got on... So apparently my stream is skipping a lot, and I think it's because this game is like requiring way too much processing power. But because the game keeps skipping too, like the game just froze. Final Fantasy 4, yeah, 14. I was a big fan of Final Fantasy 14. I didn't get any of the expansions, like I said, but I've kept it in the back of my mind as something to drop back onto to play if I decide to get back into it someday. But a lot of people were in the chat shortly before you came into stream asking what people think of the game, and most of the people playing seem to think that it's not going to be a very successful game. I guess people aren't huge fans of what they're playing so far. Talk to Artificer Petrowski. We saw her earlier. Where was she? That's not her. Your green orb over your head threw me off. Apparently a lot of people seem to think that this is not going to hold a flame against Ashes of Creation, which from my understanding has been in development for so long that some people question whether it's actually ever going to come out. It is impressive what they have here, considering this game has only been in development for like 3 years, I think, which for an MMO is not very much time at all. It isn't the new one I've been hearing so much about. My name is Mary Petrowski. I may be able to get that box of yours open, but first I have to instruct you on the ways of crafting. Make sure that opening that box won't unleash corruption on the Everfall settlement. I need to gain a little trust between us, you and I, for there is no one who hates the corrupted more than me. You've refined materials, but have you yet made anything of them? That is where my expertise comes in. I have been crafting products from raw material ever since my life in the old world. There wasn't the pressing threat of corruption in the old world, so you've got all the more motivation to be crafting here. I think if you're going to create a successful MMO, you are competing with the big boys, and if you don't reach that standing, then you are on the same level as ESO or the other B tier ones. WoW and Final Fantasy 14 own the market. Yeah, and I don't think that's ever going to change, honestly. Like, I think MMO is kind of a game genre that has seen its heyday, and it will never get that popular again. Like, it will never meet the popularity of WoW or Final Fantasy 14 again. Because people have moved on. Like, people don't want MMOs. They want, like, a single-player game that has, like, a breadth of content in it that just never ends. Have you ever forged a long sword? Well, today you will. And I think that's why Elder Scrolls Online is so successful, is because it is a game you can play by yourself. You don't have to play it MMO style. But it still has, like, an unending breadth of content that people can just grind forever. Until you see something live, like VR, like Sword Art Online. Yeah, there are a couple VR MMOs that they've tried to make, and I've tried them on the channel in the past. So far, they're not very good. Like, the ones I've tried are very, very poor. Very poorly done. But they are in VR, so I guess given what they were trying to do, they did succeed in making a VR MMO. But in my opinion, they were just not very enjoyable to play. But yeah, if you could make like a really high level, like blockbuster level MMO like Final Fantasy 14 and make it VR, like that would be pretty awesome. Have you ever forged a longsword? Well, today you will. If the opinion of my patrons is to be trusted, the longsword is a must-have when fighting off corrupted forces. Open that heavy satchel you've received and we can begin. Heavy satchel. Ooh, that goes along with my attire a little bit better. Now look at me, I'm a real pirate. I'm a swashbuckler, guys. Look at me. Got the attire and everything. Craft an iron longsword, you need to bring your materials to the forge and start hammering. I got it. I mean, the tech isn't there to make it what it needs to be, so up until now, VR MMO are just very rough. Or maybe a co-op game that's not based on just crafting and killing enemies. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I think MMOs have long gotten tired because that's all it is like it's just constantly crafting and it's constantly killing. And like, they need to evolve the gameplay, in my opinion, because every MMO does the exact same thing as the last one. Wood, straight sword, iron. What did she say I need to craft? Iron ingots at the smelter. I need a smelter, guys. You'd think the smelter would be nearby. There it is. Iron ingots. Got him. Oh, I need 9. My bad. VR, I think the technology is there for a VR game. The problem is that they don't have any actual MMO studios making VR games. They have a bunch of indie studios trying to make VR MMOs, and it just doesn't work well. Whenever an independent studio tries to make an MMO, it never works out. Like, it will be popular when it first comes out, and then people will realize the limitations of it because they had such a small production, what's the word I'm looking for? Such a small amount of money to put into production that people start realizing what the limitations are on the game itself and how the gameplay doesn't match like the big blockbuster level MMOs. Then people lose interest really quick. So if like one of the big MMO companies even just ported their game into VR, like that would be awesome. How did it go? Any work-related injuries? Don't worry, those heal with time. Let me see your handiwork. It is actually quite good. You're going to want strong weapons like these in your fight against the corrupted, because corruption forces will be forging their own weapons as well. So my thing is, I actually like really in-depth RPGs that are single-player, but play like MMOs. Like, they have similar crafting systems, similar questing system, similar open-world feel as an MMO, but they're actually just a single-player game. Like, Elder Scrolls games, or like one of the games I just bought on the Switch that I tried earlier today called Xenoblade Chronicles that I've heard nothing but great things about from the people who have played it. The whole time I was playing the first hour of that game, all I could think of is like, this is essentially a MMO where they took the multiplayer out of it and then just kept all of the MMO elements. And it actually is a really fun game so far, even though I'm only an hour into it. Blizzard and Sony are too greedy for that. Yeah, Blizzard would never do MMO. Or VR, I mean. And Sony's actually getting more into the VR. They have like the VR system for the PlayStation. But again, yeah, I don't think they would ever actually put Final Fantasy XIV on VR or anything like that. Or try to break the mold of the different gameplay elements of a MMO. They'll just do what they know works and just keep with it. Talk to Survivalist Lee. Oh, Lee! You gotta go around these houses, apparently. Oh, Lee, where are you? And that's the problem with MMOs, is like everything's so set in stone with what is successful and what makes money that nobody's willing to try anything different. They're just like, oh, let's just copy and paste the same thing everybody else has done because that clearly works. Otherwise, WoW wouldn't still be popular 15 years later, 20 years later. Look at this lost soul magistrate sent my way. It seems your natural fighting skills compensate for your lack of fashion. Dude, look at me. I'm like the coolest looking pirate you've ever seen. I even have barnacles on my shirt. That's how real I am. Let me tell you, a few things get my blood pumping more than a good fight. Lee is my name. I'm the survivalist here in Everfall. Follow my lead, and I'll teach you how to take from the bounty of nature and make your eternity here worth living. Surviving is about more than simply knowing how to set a half-decent camp. Oh, apparently that was it. That was the quest. The Karatek and Midnight Wolves have been a major problem for anyone attempting to supply the nearby fort. The Midnight Wolves also happen to possess the most thick and luxurious fur in all of Everfall. Call their numbers to secure the supply route and bring back some of that fine fur while you're at it. Don't forget, don't let them gang up on you, and be sure to set camp nearby to recuperate and resupply between fights. Okay. And we're starting to get to the point where, like, now, I'm 2 hours in, like at this point, if the game doesn't really change up stuff and like make something new happen, like I'm starting to get a little bored, I'm not gonna lie, because like now it's just doing more quests over and over again. And I finally did it. I said earlier that I was going to do it and it was gonna happen, and I finally did it. Because the game does not have a jump button, I have successfully gotten myself trapped in eternity. So now I gotta figure out what button brings me back to the inn. They made a Star Wars MMO once that I liked, but it was very shoddy and not as deep as it looked. Was it Star Wars Galaxies, or was it Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic? Because Star Wars Galaxies, when it came out, I loved that game, but it failed after like 4 years, which is sad. Probably shorter than that, maybe like 2 years. But Star Wars Old Republic is still around. It's a free-to-play one, but it's more like a single-player game. It's very story-based. You play your character's storyline to the end, and then the game's over. And then you play a different class to do a different story. Where is... They never actually explained to me how to teleport back to the inn. They just told me I could. I think it was a Galaxy one. I loved that game. That game was like one of my favorite MMOs I've ever played. Recall to inn. There we go. Use the map to do it, apparently. Like, the big appeal to the Star Wars Galaxy game, which I wish more MMOs would do, is they had like a system where you actually had to achieve certain things in the game to become a Jedi. Like, Jedi wasn't just a class you could start out as at the beginning of the game, which in the new Star Wars MMO it is. But in the Galaxy game, you could start as any class you wanted to, and you could make your way up to becoming a Jedi, but you had to like meet certain requirements first before you could become one. So like, it was like this big thing that if you ran into a Jedi player in the MMO, it was like everybody around was like gathering around them and like bowing to them and being like, oh my god, I've never seen one in real life. Like, it almost made it seem like the way people respond to Jedis in Star Wars. Like in the movies, like when people see a Jedi, they're like, oh, I've never seen a Jedi before. And then people have like their opinions about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like, the game made it feel that way. It was like when you saw a Jedi, it was like an actual special thing, like an occurrence that you wouldn't expect to just happen all the time, which I thought that was a really cool feature. We still don't have any ammo. No, we don't. But I can change that to my bow, which I do have arrows for. And we can go hunting some wolves. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Make camp in the wild. Okay. Oh yeah, so that you can create a respawn point with that too, which is pretty cool. Krotic Cave we've actually already been in. Apparently there's an invisible wall there for some reason. That makes sense to me, not just anyone can be a Jedi. Yeah, that's why I really liked it. But then like in all of the Star Wars games that have come out since then, or any multiplayer MMO Star Wars, it's like, oh no, you can just start as a Jedi. Like, that's a class that you can just start as. I think more MMOs should do that, like have like a higher untouchable level of player class that you actually have to work towards in the game to get to, not just something that you can just be from the beginning. Because then it would actually give you like an accomplishment to work towards instead of just grinding quests and grinding crafting and grinding all of the different things you typically grind in an MMO just to get to the last level and be like, oh, well, now I did it. Now what? Because honestly, that's typically how a MMO feels to me, is like you grind through all of this stuff in the game to get to the final level or the max level, and from there, like, there's nothing to do. And you're just like, oh, well, I can just keep grinding stuff and keep crafting new stuff, but otherwise, like, what else am I supposed to do? Not very many MMOs actually have a decent storyline that keeps me interested in playing past max level. That turkey is running like a madman. Jedi seems more like a level than a class. Yeah. I have a territory standing point. Yay. Like, I can already feel that that's what this game boils down to, is this typical MMO gameplay of just grinding to get more levels, to unlock more stat buffs, to get to higher leveled areas, to do the exact same thing over again. Like, it's nothing new, it's just this typical MMO game. Which, for the people who love MMOs and like to pour a lot of time into them, that's perfect to have a new one. Just something new to do. But, not my type of game at all. I'd say the only MMO out there that really has a good story-based game is Final Fantasy XIV. Beyond that, all of the stories of MMOs are just kind of like background. Just the fluff that gives you an excuse for what you're doing. I actually kind of wanted to shoot him with my bow, and I just smack him in the head with it. Oh yeah, headshot. I do like that when you're using ranged combat in this game, headshots actually do a critical hit, which is a pretty cool touch. Like, not very many MMOs do that. Then again, not very many MMOs let you aim either. Usually, even if you have a bow, it's just tab targeting and then slam your attack button on your keyboard. Are the wolves what are blowing up? Like, I'm not entirely sure why there's explosions happening everywhere. I need to kill 2 more. How'd you even see him? Yeah, the wolves are blowing up. Why are they doing that? Magic wolves. Apparently not a great aim. I do like this as far as an RPG element, though. Having, like, levels for your weapons is really cool. Like, as you master using your weapon, from using it more, you can unlock new skills for that weapon. Rapid shot. 3 arrows are fired in quick succession. The last arrow is charged to increase range and cause a knockback. Or spread shot. With a relatively long wind-up, 3 arrows are shot from the bow at the same time, spread horizontally. Each arrow can hit an independent target or all the same if timed correctly. I like this one. Oh, that's pretty cool. Travel to Midnight Den. Where's that? Midnight Den. All the way over here. Like, a lot of MMO gameplay seems to be like, I don't want to say this in a bad way that makes it sound bad. But like, a lot of MMO gameplay, in my opinion, just seems to be a way to take the player's time by simultaneously grinding out a level to, like, get the next stat upgrade. So, like, now that I've finished this quest, like, the game's gonna take my time a little bit and, like, force me to walk, like, halfway across the map. I'm gonna die now. Thank you for saving me, sir. No food. I have no way to heal myself. We're dead. Maybe I do, actually. Maybe I just don't have it equipped. Nope, I don't. Yes, I do. I'm just silly. I just didn't have it equipped because I'm silly. I don't know if we'll play this again after tonight, like, because the problem with these kinds of games is, like, you could easily, depending on the pace that they made the game to take, like, these starting areas could take, like, 10 hours. So, like, what's the point of playing it for 6 hours over 3 days if I can't even see any further than where we are now? If I'm just going to be playing more of the same content in the same place, I'd rather just spend my time doing something else. It's redundant, but with the promise of some kind of reward. Some people like that gameplay. Yeah, it's exactly what an MMO is, yeah. It's a lot of redundancy, a lot of repetitive gameplay, with the promise that if you do the repetitive gameplay, eventually you'll unlock higher stats, or you'll unlock a cooler looking weapon or a cooler looking armor set. Because believe it or not, there are a lot of people I've even known of, personally, who play MMOs just for the goal of, wow, that guy has a really high level. Just with the goal of getting cooler looking stuff. Like, they don't care if the stuff even has, like, stat increases. They just want armor sets that look really cool. And I can get that, because when I play my first, like, my single-player RPGs I like to play, like, I do like the aesthetics. Like, I like having armor that looks really badass. Chew on that meat. Chew it, chew it. Do it, do it. But do you like it enough to kill 42 wolves for it? No, not really. And that's where me and MMOs just lose the connection with each other. Is like, yeah, the game can look really cool, the combat can be really fun, but I don't like it when the game gets to a point where they all get to where it's like, oh, by the way, in order to get to the next area of the game, you're going to have to go out there and kill 500 wolves first and level up 5 more levels before we'll let you continue. Like, that's where I lose all interest in MMOs real quick when it comes to that point. And I don't know why, like, it makes no sense to me why, like, quests can be exciting, varied, and different in other RPGs, but then MMOs just always go back to the original, like the classic, oh, just go and kill 10 things for me real quick. I don't really, the thought process there just escapes me completely. And I guess in single-player RPGs, the quests aren't that varied. Like, honestly, they all boil down to simply the same thing, the same general go craft, go get resources, or go kill things. But each quest is usually tied to, like, some sort of underlying story element. Whereas in here, like, they give you a very, very, very basic story element that drives the need to go kill 50 of this enemy. For no reason other than, oh no, we need to have you prove yourself to us, so you need a stronger weapon, so go get 50 wolf hides so we can make you a stronger weapon. I do like that I can loot off of other people's kills in this game, though. That's pretty cool. Like, there are elements of this game that make it appealing. But for me personally, I don't think I would pay a monthly subscription fee to be able to come and kill 50 wolves for an experience point. Or a level. Thank you, kind friend. I think someone attempted to heal me, but I think I was moving so fast that they didn't actually do anything. Thought those crickets were outside my window. Yeah, the sound design in this game is really well done. The sound is really good. Is that a lion? Oh, it's another wolf. And, like, that's another thing about single-player RPGs I like more, is, like, yeah, the graphics in this are really, really good, and the map looks cool, but generally the game probably won't get much different than what we see here. Like, I don't see it having, like, you know, like, I don't know what I would call it, like, an area of the game that just suddenly has, like, a techno-punk style to it or something. It's just all gonna generally be this. Whereas like a single player RPG, you have the freedom of the story to be like, oh, and by the way, like you have to go teleport to this far off sci-fi fantasy land. Whereas this game has to kind of stay true to its roots of what it is and what the story is about and the timeline it exists in. I mean, it doesn't have to. It could make some sort of storyline in here where you like travel through time or travel into different like ages of technology, but I doubt it will. Like, I don't think the game's gonna get that crazy. MMOs aren't there for the deep, crazy plot twists. They're here for do this quest and level up. Those crickets are awfully loud, though, huh? And the fact that people in the chat inside the game that have probably put much more time into this game than I'm ever going to are already saying they're not that impressed and they already think it's going to fail is very telling of how the community as a whole is taking the game. I'm going to die. No, I'm not, because I know how to block, which I did not do. That was our first death, 2 hours in. Now I have to respawn all the way back here. You crazy. I don't. Oh, gotcha. Nearest settlement respawn. Gotcha, okay. And that's like the main quibble I have, or quibble, whatever you want to call it, that I have with any MMO is like sometimes there are really nice story beats in an MMO. But like no matter which one you play, like the story beats come few and far between, and they're usually just at the very beginning and the very end, once you like beat the last boss of the game. So like instead of playing 80 hours of an MMO to level up and get to the last boss, you could just as easily just go to YouTube and like watch the last cutscene of the game and be like, oh, that's cool. Like I like what they did with that story. Which, yeah, technically I guess you could do with any game. But most games, single player games that I've played, like single player story based games, keep the gameplay varied and interesting enough that you keep entertained throughout the 80 hours of gameplay. Instead of MMOs in general, usually it becomes like, I'm not exactly having the world's most fun doing this, but it's not incredibly dull and grating either. But like, some people just enjoy that. Some people can play an MMO and literally have as much fun grinding their 500th wolf as they did killing the very first one they ever saw in the game. Apparently I must have went like way the wrong way originally, because I'm already here. Skin wolves. Coarse wolf hairs. Okay. Need to kill wolves in this area now. Oh, somebody else got stuck. It says you need Amazon Prime to unstuck your character. Nice job. What do you lose when your character dies? Your will to live? Nothing but durability on your weapons. Okay. Your will to live. The Amazon Prime joke has me dying. That's funny. And then here's another typical MMO trope too, is you have to skin wolves for coarse wolf hairs, but in order to prolong this quest, not every wolf you kill is going to have coarse wolf hairs. So now I've skinned 2, I haven't found a single one yet. So instead of being able to come out here and kill 3 wolves and be like, okay, I got what I need, now I'm going to be here spending 10 minutes to kill multiple wolves, hoping they'll randomly generate the wolf hairs I need to finish this quest. Still haven't gotten any. Makes me wonder if they'll tie this game into Amazon Prime accounts somehow. Like, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you either get a discounted rate on the monthly subscription, or you just don't have to pay a monthly subscription. That would be interesting. Like, I wonder if there's any kind of, like, rules against that. I'm sure there aren't. Like, what rule would ever dictate that they can or can't do that? But, like, would it be considered an unfair practice or something? It'd be like, hey, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can play all of our games for free instead of having to pay the monthly subscription. I could totally see them offering a discount of some sort, yeah. Like, with Amazon Prime, instead of having to pay whatever the monthly subscription is going to be for this, if there even is one, I haven't read that much into it yet. It does feel like it would be a monthly subscription game. Like, it is a very high production value game. Like, you can tell just from the graphics and the smoothness of the gameplay. A lot of time and money has gone into making this. So I would not be surprised if once it comes out they decide it's going to be a subscription-based MMO. Even though those are very few and far between anymore. So I think we are getting to a point where I am literally seeing exactly the same thing that turns me off from any MMO I play, which is we've been here for now probably a good, I'd say 5 minutes. We haven't found a single one of the things we need to complete my quest yet, which means the ratio could easily be I could be here an hour and killing these things and not find the 3 wolf hairs that I need. So it's literally just grinding. Like, that's what every MMO's backbone is built off of: grinding, grinding, grinding. And I know that coming in. Like, I knew that was going to be what this game is. I'm not foolish enough to think somebody's going to completely break the mold and change how an MMO plays. But we're just realizing how short of a time frame it takes for an MMO to completely lose my interest. Like, we're 2.5 hours into this game and I'm to the point where I'm like, eh. Like, it's almost to the point now where I'm questioning whether I'm even doing the quest right, because I feel like by now I should have at least gotten one of the 3 items I need to finish this quest. No, let me craft you. You knew what to expect, but you have to see it anyway. Exactly, like, you have to experience it. And that's how I am with every MMO. Like, no MMO ever holds my interest very long, other than Final Fantasy XIV, because it does have a huge story, which is really cool. But the gameplay is what actually made me uninterested in continuing the story after a while, because the gameplay is MMO gameplay. Like, it got boring after a while, the same way as everyone does. But, I still, like, have to see and try and play every single MMO that ever comes out, because I'm like, well, maybe something will be different enough about this game to be like, yeah, I can play this one. But then every single one is always exactly the same. You still have a scrap of hope for a better MMO someday? Yeah, that's essentially what it boils down to, is I have, like, a sliver of hope that there's a chance that someday an MMO game will come out that just breaks the mold enough that I'll be like, oh yeah, this is different enough that I can play it. It's not just the exact same cookie-cutter game with a different paint job on it. But I'm saying that as somebody who did play World of Warcraft pretty regularly, like probably 4 days a week for like 2 years. Well, not that long, like a year. I played World of Warcraft like 4 days a week for like a year until I actually got to the end game and beat the last boss of the game at the time. And then I was like, that was a cool experience, but I don't see any need to keep going. So, like, it's not that I'm completely against MMOs. I have played World of Warcraft for about a year, paying the subscription, and I played Final Fantasy XIV for about 6 months, paying the subscription, and beat that. the main story. So like, if they do things right, they can keep my attention. And I've mentioned earlier, that's in previous streams even, that's the reason WoW did keep my attention so long, is each individual quest you did was tied to like a deeper storyline in the game. And like there were individual storylines separate from the main story of the game that you could just go on a tangent and like follow these quests and go weave through this really cool storyline that was independent of the rest of the game around you, and like have your own little experience that somebody else might not have had because they didn't do those quests. Whereas this game seems pretty linear, like you can just do the exact same quest line as everybody else and experience all the exact same stuff. And then Final Fantasy XIV was the same. Like typically the major storyline of Final Fantasy XIV was the same for every player who played it, but depending on which race and class you chose to play as, you experience some tiny bits of pieces of story that nobody else got to experience unless they played as that race or class. And again, this game doesn't really seem to have that because there's only one race. Everybody plays as the same race. I'm picturing Bubby when he's 97 years old saying, I finally found an MMO I can play for the rest of my life, and then I die the next day of old age. No! At least the dream will have come to fruition. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I think we're gonna call it here. Like, I was in the right spot. This is where I died. I was in the right spot to hunt the wolves. But I did it for like 10 minutes straight. I didn't get a single coarse wolf hair that I need, and I need 3 of them. And honestly, it's getting to the point of the night where it's late enough that I feel like I don't want to waste a half hour of my life grinding the same wolf over and over again to try and get wolf hairs. So I think for now, this will end our first look at Amazon's New World. It has a lot of cool things going for it. The graphics are really good. Like for an MMO game, the graphics are what first caught my attention when I started playing it tonight. I was like, wow, this looks really great. The gameplay though, just more of the same old MMO gameplay. Like, it's nothing special so far. Like maybe in the end game there's some really cool features that don't exist in other games. But so far it's just more looting, more grinding, more trying to level up, increase stats. And that to me just is not very enjoyable, I'll be honest. Like it's not an enjoyable game for me personally. But I wanted to take a first look at it because I've been hearing a lot of things about it, and I just wanted to see what it was all about. But for now, thanks for joining. It was a fun stream while it lasted. I don't know if we'll be coming back to this. The beta test is for like the next 3 days, so maybe we'll take another look at it. I'm not too hopeful. But in the meantime, thanks for joining.